Hello, Moving Beyond Fear crew. Hi, welcome to the Love Over Fear show by Healing Embodied. If you are new to this space, or if you don't recognize me, hi, my name is Sarah. I am the lead body-mind integration expert here at Healing Embodied. I work alongside of our incredible, wonderful CEO, Chelsea Joy Horton, and I have the honor of leading most of our embodiment sessions for our groups that we run. I support the Safety Within group members, and one of my favorite parts, I get to come on here live once a month and do an episode of the Love Over Fear show. If you have no idea what the Love Over Fear show is, if you are joining us for the first time, first of all, hi, welcome. Thanks for joining us and checking out this video. This is a show that we do twice a month in the Moving Beyond Fear Facebook group, which is our free ROCD Facebook community. This show, how do I describe it? Think like talk show meets TED Talk meets educational webinar meets podcast meets like just hanging out with your friends. That is what this whole show is about. And it's really meant to help you feel empowered, inspired, and to educate you on various elements of ROCD and relationship anxiety. Chelsea and I started this show because we believe that you can feel madly, deeply, wonderfully in love and feel fearful and a little scared all at the same time. These are the two main driving forces behind human behavior, love and fear. Most of what we do is driven by love and or fear. But we want to help you choose love over fear every single time. We want to help you recognize how fear is playing a role in your life and help you embrace love wholeheartedly. Step back into your life. Stop letting fear run the show and take back your life. So that is why we are here. That is why we do what we do. That is why this show exists. That is why Healing Embodied exists. Today's episode, I'm super pumped about it. It is called The Language of Love, and you guessed it, we are talking all about love languages today. It's a fun one coming off of Valentine's Day last month. So if you're here live, I see a few people watching. Drop me a comment below. Say, hey, hi, let me know you're here, let me know you're watching. Give me a thumbs up, give me a wave. I absolutely love doing this show virtually because we get to reach so many people, but it can feel a little bit like weird and isolating and like I'm just talking into the void of the internet. So if you're here live, say hi, let me know. Okay, let's jump in, right? Let's just start with like, what the heck even are love languages? I think probably like 99% of you watching the show are familiar with what I'm talking about, but let me just give you a little context, okay? So the love languages, this was originally developed by Dr. Gary Chapman. He published a book in 1992 that is called The 5 Love Languages: How to Express Heartfelt Commitment to Your Mate. I love that word, mate. There have been several versions since then. I know he's made a specific men's version. I think maybe there's a specific women's version, but I'm not positive. Love languages refer to various ways, the most common ways that humans express and receive love. Some people, some resources say that everybody has a primary love language and a secondary love language. Some people say you have a mix of all 5, but they just kind of vary in importance to you. You could spend literally hours, probably some of you have, spend hours taking like all kinds of online quizzes about love languages, reading about them. There are like countless BuzzFeed articles. It's like It's all the rage. Love languages are a hot topic these days, right? So what I want to do is just boil this down a little bit and point out that love languages, these really just refer to how you have learned to express and receive love to and from other people. Learned. How you have learned to express and receive. That's a very important word. Remember that. Lock that little nugget away. I'm going to come back to it later. That is all love languages are. How we have learned to give and receive love. Okay? So, the 5 love languages. My water is on the floor next to me today, so I'm going to get a little workout in, reaching down and picking it up. So the 5 love languages, they are acts of service, doing things for the other person, getting their car washed, opening the door for them, cleaning the house, doing their taxes. Gifts, giving actual tangible items. Words of affirmation, compliments, highlighting their strengths, saying thank you, telling them they look nice, they smell nice, telling them you enjoy spending time with them, etc. Quality time, spending meaningful time together, watching a new show or a movie together, cooking together, going for walks, playing games, going on vacations. And the 5th one is touch, physical touch. This can be something like sex or a back rub or cuddling. It can also just be like touching your partner on the shoulder as you walk by, giving them a kiss before they leave for work or when you get home, touching their hair, kind of rubbing their cheek, having your arm around them, holding hands. All of that goes along with touch. Okay, so those are the 5 primary love languages: acts of service, gifts, words of affirmation, quality time, and touch. As you are hearing those, you may already be familiar with like, oh yeah, these are my love languages. These are my preferred love languages. But as you're hearing those, that might kind of spark some thoughts too of like, oh yeah, I do really love it when my partner does that. Or like, no, I hate it when my partner does that. So just be thinking. Just start getting curious about it here as we're talking about it. You can even comment below and tell me what your love languages are. I'm going to get into mine later, but I want to hear what yours are. Or if you don't know, take a guess. Okay? So, love languages. This is all fine and good. You might be like, okay, that's great. I don't care. What does this have to do with ROCD? Great question. Glad you asked. I actually really appreciate the love languages and kind of breaking them down, giving them categories. I really enjoy learning about them. I really enjoy talking with other people about their preferred love languages because I think that it offers you a glimpse into the person's past, because remember I said this is how we've learned to give and receive love. And it just gives you a glimpse into them as a human being. These are the things that this person really appreciates. These are the things that make this person feel loved. So I actually really enjoy them. However, this can get tricky when it comes to ROCD or relationship anxiety and the love languages. They don't always get along. They don't. Here's the problem. So the ROCD brain, the anxious brain, or the traumatized brain, sees everything in black and white. It sees everything in extremes. It isn't very flexible. It's not really open to change or differences. The ROCD brain sees differences as actually being threatening. It sees differences as a risk and a threat to your safety and your relationship and your well-being. So of course it's going to freak out a little bit. So what happens is that we can fall into this trap where you're like, oh my gosh, my partner and I have different love languages. How can that ever work? We aren't compatible. Or like, he just doesn't speak my love languages. He just doesn't love me through my love language, so he isn't the right one for me. Or if she really loved me, then she would always love me through my love language. She would do it the way that I want her to every single time. Or if this were really the right relationship, then it would just be easy, and we wouldn't have to work at it. We wouldn't have to learn each other's love language. There wouldn't be compromise, because it would just happen naturally. It should just happen naturally. Anyone ever find yourself going around and around in your head like that? Me. I know I have. If you have, tell me below. And if you don't, you're probably lying. Just kidding. Sort of. The other thing that can happen is that we put all of the responsibility entirely on our partners to love us from our love languages and to love us perfectly right away. That's a huge responsibility. Okay, real life example here, my husband and I, we could not be more different in our preferred love language. He is acts of service and gifts. I am words of affirmation and physical touch. We are polar opposites. Polar opposites. Gifts, acts of service don't really matter to me. Words of affirmation doesn't really matter to him. Okay? So for a long time, for several years of our relationship, I kind of blamed him for any like low self-esteem or low worth that I would feel when I was getting like down on myself. I put it on him. I was telling myself this story of, well, if he just told me that I was pretty or sexy more often, then I would feel better about myself. It's that sneaky if-then trap, right? I asked him time and time and time again, like, just tell me that I'm pretty. Do you think I'm pretty? Do you really think I'm pretty? Do you think I'm sexy? Do you think I'm sexier than her? Do you think I'm prettier than her? I asked him so many times to tell it to me more often, and he really tried, and he still tries, but it was never enough for me. It was never enough. Because guess what? I'm going to call y'all out. I'm calling myself out here. It will never be enough if we're not doing it for ourselves too. The first fight that my husband and I ever had was when we were long distance and he didn't post about me on social media for our 1 year anniversary. That was a fun one, because to me, in my like not flexible, anxious brain, I was like, words of affirmation, this is what I need. I actually didn't really recognize that those are my love languages back then, so maybe I shouldn't use that wording, but I was like, I want him to post about me. I want him to tell everybody how much he loves me, and he didn't do that because that isn't how he expresses love. And I was so caught up in that I wasn't even seeing what he was doing, but I'll come back to that. Okay, so I am a real life living, breathing example to tell you, I'm here to tell you that your relationship is not doomed if you have different preferred love languages than your partner. That is not a death sentence. You do not have to break up. You can have beautiful, amazing, wonderful, fulfilling relationships and connections with people whose preferred love languages are completely opposite from yours. I promise you, you can. But guess what? Like all things, it's going to take a little work from you. I'm not talking to your partners here, I'm talking to you. So, sorry, it's really dry in here today, so I need a lot of water. Here's what you need to do if you have different love languages than your partner. You need to learn to pay attention to your and your partner's love languages and make a conscious, intentional effort to meet them where they're at. You need to learn to meet your own needs when it comes to your love languages. And you need to start seeing your partner's acts of love with compassionate, grateful eyes instead of judgmental and critical eyes. That is what you need to do. Those 3 things. That is what you need to do. And I'm going to break them down a little bit. Don't worry. I won't leave you with that. I'm going to break them down. Okay. Number 1, learn to pay attention to your and your partner's love languages and make a conscious effort to meet them where they're at. I see a bunch of people just jumped on. If you're here live, say hi. Tell me you're here. And feel free to tell me what your love languages are and your partner's if you know them. And are you different? That's what I want to know. Okay. Learn to pay attention to your and your partner's love languages. Make a conscious and intentional effort to meet them where they're at. Easy enough, right? No. Remember how I brought up that word learned at the beginning of this whole thing? Love languages are learned. How we give and receive love is a learned behavior. It is not something that we are just born with and that is rigid and inflexible and never changing. It's learned. It's what we see modeled for us. It might be really explicit, like your parents or your grandparents or your caretakers said something to you like, when you really love a girl, make sure you tell her. Make sure you tell her all the time. Don't ever let her go a day without hearing how much you love her and care about her. It might be explicit like that. It might just be something you witnessed. Like my parents, they, every single day, I don't think there's ever been a day that I haven't seen them give each other a hug and a kiss before leaving the house and when they came home. And they say goodnight and give each other a kiss before they go to bed. Every single day. Every day. It's no wonder that I now feed off of words of affirmation and physical touch, because I saw that modeled for me forever growing up, right? Whereas my husband, who's a gift person and not a words of affirmation, I don't think I've seen his parents like compliment each other too much, but I have seen them give each other these sweet little gifts, little like tokens or something big like a pretty ring or something. Of course he's learned that gifts is the way to express love, right? It is learned. And the sooner that you can realize this, the happier you will be, because you will really recognize that you can change. Love languages can change. Yay! Thank goodness for that, right? Okay, pay attention. Pay attention to what your own love languages are and what are the languages of your partner. Maybe you actually do take a quiz, one of those silly little BuzzFeed quizzes. Maybe you read that book by Dr. Gary Chapman, or maybe you just pay attention to the things that light you up and the things that light your partner up. Does your partner get really excited when you bring her coffee? Does your partner want to cuddle every single night? Does your partner get that little like twinkle in their eye and get kind of like blushy and bashful when you compliment them? Do you just like really love it when your partner cleans the house? Do you really enjoy activities with your partner, like going for a walk or playing a game together? What lights you up? What lights your partner up? Just pay attention to it. Be mindful of it. And then talk to them about it. This is a tricky one, I know. I'm going to caveat this a little bit by letting you know that Chelsea's going to be doing a Love Over Fear show episode in the coming future, all about how to talk to your partner, specifically about ROCD, and some of her tips and tricks that she's going to give you may apply here, but I'll break this down a little. So, talk to your partner about this, and don't you dare use the words, you have to do blah 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 blah, or you don't do blah 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 enough. Don't do it. Just don't do it. I did it a lot, and it didn't work. Okay, that is the quickest way to shut the conversation down. Approach it with curiosity, with compassion. Aim to listen and learn more than you talk and share. Start with like, hey babe, have you heard of the love languages? I know they're like kind of cheesy and cliche sounding, but I've actually been learning a lot about them, and it's helping me understand some of my own patterns and needs a bit more. Would you be open to learning more about it with me? I know it's kind of silly, but would you be interested in it? Do you want to listen to this video that Sarah did? Just kidding. Or maybe you say like, hun, you brought me that coffee last week at work. That like literally made my whole day. It was so sweet and thoughtful, and I really want to show you that same level of thoughtfulness. You're not a big coffee drinker, but is there anything I could do that would really make you feel loved and appreciated? Or like, is there anything that I already do that you really, really like? Approach it with curiosity. And then try to do those things. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's fine if it's not perfect, but just try. If you notice that your partner is a big acts of service person, my husband, try to do the dishes before they come home. Go get their car washed for them. Cook a nice meal that they'd like. If they're big on touch, rub their back when you walk by them. Give them a kick. Don't give them a kick. Give them a quick kiss on the cheek when you walk by. Rest your hand on their knee when you're watching TV or driving together or something like that. Just make a conscious effort to meet them where they're at. Okay, that is step one. That's step one. Notice, recognize, and make a conscious effort to meet them there. Don't jump right into changing. Don't jump straight into, this is your love language, but this is mine, so we gotta change. No, we'll get there. I promise you'll get there. Start with meeting them where they're at, okay? Okay, moving on. Enough about that. Let me get a sip of water. Okay. This is a fun one. This is a juicy one. Hear me out here. We gotta learn to meet our own needs when it comes to our preferred love languages. We gotta do it. It is not all on our partners to do it. As I said earlier, what we often do is we put that responsibility entirely on our partners. But guess what? Love languages, remember, are the way that we have learned to give and receive love. And if we are not engaging in self-love, then love from another person will never be enough. Never. It just won't be. I don't care how incredible your partner is. I'm sure you guys are all with wonderful people. If you are not actively loving on yourself, doesn't matter how well they love you. It's not going to be enough. It's just not, okay? So let me give you some examples, because you might be like, well, what in the heck is she talking about? I don't know how to do this. Also, if you're here live, say hi. I keep saying that. No one's saying hi. That's fine. Unless there are comments that I'm not seeing, in which case, sorry. Okay. So let's say you're a big acts of service person. Maybe you volunteer, or you straighten up your room or clean out your car, donate old clothing or furniture, set new monthly goals, meal prep your own lunches. Do something for yourself. Do an act of service for yourself or for your environment. If you are a big gifts person, treat yourself. Heyo, treat yourself. Get yourself a nice coffee or an ice cream. Sign up for some kind of subscription box. There's so many fun ones these days. There's like coffee subscription boxes. There are like, oh my god, what else? There's one by like Sex with Emily. If you're looking for like some kinky stuff, you could do that. There are like clothing ones like Stitch Fix and stuff like that. There's skincare ones. There are so many subscription boxes. So many. Or like Mike and I, we have those silly toothbrushes, Quip, and I think it's like every 3 months we get a new like brush head and battery in the mail, and it's always fun. It's like, oh, cool. treat yourself, okay? If you are a words of affirmation person, start a gratitude or a positive affirmation journal. Put like cute stickers in your house or on your mirror. Watch an inspiring TED Talk. Compliment yourself. Keep a list of things that you love about yourself. And side note, if that list is very short, that is where you need to start. Forget all the love languages stuff. That's where you need to start. If you're a quality time person, go for a walk by yourself. Start a new TV show that you watch on your own that you get invested in. Read a book series. Enjoy the sunset. Spend time in nature. Make art. Touch. If you are a touch person, this is a fun one. Get a massage. Give yourself a massage. Get some like essential oils or like lotion that smells really good. Give yourself a massage. Work on your skincare routine. Get your nails done. Enjoy a cup of tea and just be like really, really mindful about it. Like you smell it, you feel it in your hand, you feel the warm liquid going down your throat. Masturbate. Yeah, I went there. Do it. Take a warm shower or a bubble bath. Stretch, dance, move. Connect to your body. You're on your own. We need to learn to love ourselves the way that we want to be loved by others. Okay? We get so fixated on how other people love us that we are completely blinded to how we are or are not loving ourselves. And we gotta start there. We gotta start there. Okay. And finally, this is probably the most important thing I will say all day. We need to learn to see our partner's acts of love with compassion and gratitude instead of judgment and criticism. Okay? When I finally stopped focusing on just getting my husband to love me the way that I wanted him to, and I started focusing on how he was already loving me, my mind was freaking blown, you guys. Blown. Remember, he's acts of service and gifts. So when I opened my eyes a little bit and wasn't so fixated on how many times a day he compliments me, I just started noticing everything he was already doing. He was going grocery shopping for us. He was carrying stuff for me, like heavy bags or boxes. He was cleaning up the kitchen. He was doing the dishes. He was cleaning and organizing the house. He was making me tea or like bringing me a glass of water when I didn't even ask for it. I would just be in the middle of my workday and he would bring me a delicious cup of tea. It was literally mind-blowing to me. I felt so bad because I had spent so many years focusing on this one specific way of expressing love. I was so fixated on it that I was completely missing all of the amazing things that he was already doing. He was already doing it. And I stopped seeing it as just like, he's doing the dishes. And I started seeing it as like, oh my gosh, in him doing the dishes, he's showing how much he loves me. He's doing this thing for me because he loves me so much. And when you can notice those things and see them through this lens of love and compassion and gratitude instead of just this lens of that's not right, that's the wrong way to love someone, that's not what I want you to do, it's incredible. It's like beyond words. When we can step away from our ego a little bit and just be like, I'm going to notice everything that my partner's already doing, it's like, oh, oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, baby. Love languages, man. I have a strong love-hate relationship with love languages, but in general, I really think that understanding these love languages, understanding your own preferences, your partner's preferences, seeing them through this lens of love can truly be so helpful and transformative for everyone. we have an entire module in our core relationship anxiety program. It's called the Luscious Love Immersion. It's a group program. And we have an entire module, training module, that is all about seeing through the lens of love. So the entire module is devoted to recognizing the unique differences between you and your partner and really truly seeing them as strengths versus weaknesses and barriers, turning inward and cultivating self-love and approaching conflicts with an energy of love and understanding instead of shaming and criticizing your partner. It's incredible. If you're wanting to learn more, if you liked this Love Over Fear show, and if you are wanting to learn more about this and go deeper with this and really, really take that radical responsibility for yourself and your life and your happiness and stop just putting it on the world around you and your partner, then this program is for you. If you're not ready for that, if you're like, nope, this is still my partner's responsibility, then we're not the ones for you. But if you're like, yeah, I need to do this, I need to take this responsibility, we got you. We are yo girls. Okay. You can read more about it on our website. It's healingembodied.com, and you can apply to work with us directly, and you can stop getting triggered and annoyed every time your partner does something that doesn't perfectly line up with your preferred love language. Don't do what I did for years. Don't just demand things of your partner and completely blind yourself to what they're already doing. Don't do that. I promise you it doesn't work. This is a much better route. Don't do that, okay? We are offering something really special this week only. I meant to say this in the beginning of this episode, and I was like so excited to talk about love languages that I literally just blew past it. So if you're still here, thanks for hanging in there. Okay, so this week only, some of you know this is coming and some of you don't. For the first 5 people who sign up for the Luscious Love program, either directly from our website, you can actually just sign up directly there, or through an assessment call with us, you are going to receive a free 30-minute inner peace roadmap session with myself. Free individual inner peace roadmap session with me. Let me explain that a little bit because it's amazing. So in this 30-minute session, you and I, we are going to map out, using the body, specific steps to get you from feeling anxious and triggered and overwhelmed in your relationship to feeling calm and grounded and confident and anchored in your relationship. Okay, so we are going to meet together. We're going to talk about, all right, how are you in your body when you are in this anxious, overwhelmed, fearful, doubting state? How are you, or how do you want to be in your body when you are calm and anchored and grounded and confident? And how can we get you from one to the other? You are going to leave that 30-minute session with a literal body roadmap to move from one to the other. And I'm going to coach you specifically on how to practice it, when to use it, how to kind of shift it and change it and mold it depending on the different day, the different context, and what you're going through at that time. It's incredible. It's going to kickstart everything that you're going to do in the Luscious Love program. It's just going to kickstart it, okay? So the next time that your partner does something that isn't in line perfectly with your love language and you're like, oh my God, he's not the right one for me, I need to break up with him, you will have specific steps to get you to point B, where you're trying to go. Okay, so this week only this week, you got the next 7 days. That is what we're offering for the next 5 people only. This program works best for people who are like, I'm ready to go. If you are like, I don't know, it sounds cool, but don't. Just hold off, wait, keep using the free resources that you have. It's okay, no judgment. But if you are like, nah, I'm ready, we're doing this, take this step. Do not miss this opportunity. I was talking to Chelsea about it. This is a little bit of a tangent, but I'm going to do it anyway. I was talking to Chelsea about it a couple weeks ago when I did several of these Inner Peace Roadmap sessions with some of our new members. It was like freaking mind-blowing and so beautiful to see the transformation that happens in literally a 30-minute session. And I had one of our amazing Luscious Love members, I saw her in group, was that yesterday? It was yesterday. Wow, feels like it's been a long day. I saw her in group yesterday, and she was like, I've been doing that roadmap every day, and I feel so much calmer, and it's incredible. So, this week only, next 5 people who sign up for our Luscious Love program, you get that free 30-minute individual session with myself. You can either head to our website, healingembodied.com, click services, head to Luscious Love. You can read all about it. You can watch the video. You can read some testimonials from past clients, really get to know their story a little bit. You can see what comes with the program. And you can sign up directly on there. You will get that 30-minute session. Or if you need to sit with myself or Chelsea and you have some specific questions before you sign up, if you feel really, really ready but you just want to ask a few questions, you can click the link to apply to work with us. Fill out an application. If your application is accepted, you will receive a link to schedule a relationship anxiety assessment. We will get it done before next week, I promise you. I will open up more time if I have to. And let's get you started. Let's get you started. No more waiting around and shirking off the responsibility. It's time to take that power back and step in. Yeah, baby, I'm fired up, and I hope you are too. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for joining this episode of the Love Over Fear Show, The Language of Love. I will see you next month, and Chelsea will be back in a couple of weeks with our next episode. Take care, everyone. I will see you all soon.